I'm a research nerd, but I think you're going to like this research. One study examined the emotional reactions. On the left side of the slide, you're going to find the top emotions reported by Asian Americans in the study. When I read this list, I just feel it on a really visceral level. We're not talking about symptoms or criteria. We're talking about emotions that we can relate to. So this is what discrimination feels like. And where do we feel our emotions? We feel them in our heart, in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits. So these are the emotions. And then if you look on the right side of the slide, the researchers asked people of color, including Asian Americans, about their help-seeking behaviors. They actually asked them, when you experience these incidents of discrimination, who do you go to for help? Who do you talk to about this? And these are the top people who Asian Americans said they went to talk about or to get support from after incidents of discrimination. So go ahead and look through that list and see if you relate. Does it resonate for you? Like, yeah, that's what I do too. And I want you to know that we don't see counselors and social workers on this list. So just note who the go-to people are on this list. If students and families are not talking to us, social workers, counselors, then who are they talking to? If we don't ask, let me put it another way. What if we asked about their emotions or feelings or reactions and thoughts? And what if we included that in our conversations during intake, during case planning, during whatever intervention or interaction we had with them? What would happen if we opened up this conversation and said, I'm a person that it's okay to talk about this with. I get it. I will understand. I will support. I will take your information, and in my position of power, whatever that may be, I'm going to advocate for what kind of changes we can make in formal and informal policies and practices at our school, at our community, at our district. So if people are willing and trust us to share their pain about discrimination, then we will get feelings and stories and ideas about what changes need to be made for this to be a truly inclusive place where we all belong. How do we ask? There's a couple assessment tools that we can go to. One is called the Everyday Discrimination Interview. And here are a few questions from that interview protocol. So go ahead and read the questions on the left. And then on the right side of the screen, the city of Philadelphia, I love this. So talk about agency and autonomy. They decided to add an additional question to the 10. And this is the question that they added to their ACEs questionnaire. So go ahead and read that on the right side of your screen. So I'm going to pause for a moment and I'm going to invite you to tell me in the chat, can you see yourself asking any one of these questions in a conversation that you have, regardless of your role, with students and families? And which of these could you see yourself saying or asking? And then when? Tell me what it would look like. I'm not comfortable. I've never asked this before, but I could see myself asking this question. And I've never done it before, but I could see myself asking right around. Type in the chat, give me some ideas about how you would apply this. What would this look like? Where would you put it? Where would you fit it in? And give us all ideas. Where could we fit this in? If we tried to start incorporating this into our conversations with students and families, where would we put this in? I'm going to read a couple of these because I think these are really great ideas. I can see using them, one or more, with students and families, and also as prompts in our school's anti-racist coalition. Have you seen Friends Treated Unfairly? Okay, so that's a question that you might use. Ask this into the assessment interview during gathering social supports and or current social functioning. I love it. Are you talking about the 10-page TMH form? To gauge more sensitivity of my students and their families' experiences within their communities. Understanding the many diverse groups that exist in Asian Pacific Islander community. Could it be added to a school student experience survey or added to an evaluation in an ethnic study course? See what I'm saying? We put our heads together and we get some good ideas. I say yes to all of them. So the other thing I wanted to say that in addition to asking about assessment risk is asking about strengths, cultural pride. So if you look at the screen on the left-hand side, the DSM-5 actually has cultural formulation interview questions. I've just included it too, trying to get at how do we honor, ask about, explore, acknowledge, recognize people's cultural knowledge, values, beliefs, practices. In the last last thing I want to say is cultural pride. We can also ask students about cultural pride. So in addition to asking about risks, we can ask about pride. And then finally, healing ethno-racial trauma is about sense of belonging. Lack of belonging and loneliness is harmful. So how can we make it so that every single human feels like they belong?